Is this the GMT watch we have all been waiting for? I think it might be, you know. I know I've reviewed a lot of GMT watches recently, but primarily Seiko NH34 powered GMTs, and whenever I've reviewed one of those, the comments section is always filled with people saying, please, enough of the GMTs, or maybe you should review some true GMTs with maybe, I don't know, a Miyota 9075 in it. And yep, you guessed it, that is exactly what is inside of this Wise GMT. Not only does this watch look incredible, but there is a true GMT movement inside of this watch. And it's a higher beat movement as well, 28,800 beats per hour, hacks, hand winds. I mean, it's incredible value. I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, this is, at the discounted price, a very good value for money proposition. I recently reviewed an NH34 powered GMT by Out of Order Watches. That watch was almost £500. This one is built to a completely different level and has the Miyota 9000 series true GMT automatic movement inside it, and it's just a little bit more money. And the styling is incredible. I'm a little bit biased perhaps because this is exactly the sort of watch I really like. Beautifully finished. It is 904L stainless steel, so the steel looks a little bit brighter. It pops, it shines a little bit more. Wise produce incredibly well finished watches with fantastic specifications, and I think this is probably one of their best value for money propositions at the moment. It's $720 US. It's been $720 US for a little while now, and yeah, I mean, it says on their website that it's normally $1,300. At $1,300, it's not quite as appealing, is it? But $720, well, there's not a lot out there in terms of true GMTs that can compete, I don't think. And just look at this thing, it's incredible. The bracelet is gorgeous. You've got an on-the-fly adjustment system in the clasp as well. It is a little bit fiddly, but it does work. And just look at these hands, the applied indices, the lume is good, ceramic bezel insert, really nice bezel action as well. It doesn't have super defined crisp clicks. They're more like bumps, but they just feel super smooth, really defined in terms of, you know, it's quite a strong bump when you're rotating this bi-directional bezel. 72 clicks I've counted. Fair enough, I guess. Dial is nice. There's a few different textures on there. A nice short stubby GMT hand. You can choose the colours on some of their watches as well. As you can see, they've sent me a sort of Batman version with a yellow GMT hand. And of course, with this being a true GMT, you pull the crown out and you can move the hour hand forwards and backwards. That also is how you would adjust the date complication. The hands are really nice, actually. Beautifully finished, as are those applied indexes. Really crisp and sharp and bright. Brushing and polishing all over this watch. The polishing on the bracelet is, yeah, it's pretty good. A little bit of streaking if you really zoom in, but actually it's not bad. The polishing on the case is better, which is often the way. I was going to say the case, but that is often the case. The brushing is very nice throughout though, and the definitions between the brushing and the polishing, super crisp, super defined, no over brushing or anything like that on the polished surfaces that I've seen anyway. Solid everything, solid end links, solid links, screw pins. Screw pins were really nice. The clasp is really nice to interact with. Like I said already, the on-the-fly adjustment system is a little bit fiddly. It's sort of spring-loaded, but it does work, and yeah, I know people are going to really appreciate that. The clasp is milled, it feels substantial, the pushers are nice, everything's signed. Display case back, decent water resistance. I'll put the dimensions, the weight and the water resistance on the screen. Proportions are good. The lugs perhaps a touch long, but the end links on the bracelet, the center links, you know, aren't much longer than the lugs, so the overall case length is not too bad at all. Sapphire crystal, of course, in fact 2 pieces of sapphire crystal. Double-ended quick release spring bars on the bracelet as well. well, man, it is good. If you're in the market for a Rolex GMT Master 2, you're on a waiting list, or you're just waiting until you can afford to buy one secondhand, I think this is a very, very good stopgap for the next 5-10 years, whatever it is it's going to be, until you can pick up a proper Rolex GMT Master 2. And in fact, once you've got this on your wrist, you might actually lose interest in the Rolex GMT Master 2 because, well, I've reviewed one and wasn't that impressed by it. I mean, I love Rolex watches, I love the designs, but yeah, the execution isn't always as good as people expect. That one that I got my hands on did have its issues, and I gotta say, this one is very, very nicely finished. You will not be disappointed with this watch, and for $720 US, I really don't think there's much out there in terms of true GMTs that can compete. Presentation is nice as well. Their packaging always exceeds my expectations. It's not really what I'm looking for, but it does feel like you're handling a quality watch when you get this box in your hands, and yeah, you lift up that tray and you see all the nice little compartmentalized sections below. It definitely adds to the experience. Yeah, this brand always impresses me. In fact, I'm surprised it didn't make an appearance on a certain top 25 micro brands in the world video. I think it's good enough, quite honestly. I really do think this is one of the best micro brands that I've experienced anyway. But let's be honest, it's a very difficult list to compile because there are thousands of micro brands out there, and of course every reviewer is going to pick a different 25 micro brands, but this is one of the best micro brands that I've handled, for sure. Guys, let me know. What do you think of this Wise GMT? I think it's one of the best Wise watches I've ever seen. I like it. Can you tell?